Потом обсудим кое-какие моменты.
А бонус?
Я думаю, бонус Амари забирает. Я Амари отдал бонус.
Another TKO that happened later that night, John Pork TKO'd Dillon Danis in the first round. This is how it happened. For some weird reason, Dillon Danis was bent over like this. John Pork comes behind him and starts juicing him. Juices him, drops Dillon Danis to the floor, TKOs him, and Dillon is air kicking. He's wheel kicking. You see it in the video, his red Nikes, wheel kicking in the air. He was knocked out. Shortly after that, they got him out of there. So that was a TKO win by John Pork. So now, if you're ever in New York, remember to check in with John Pork. But if you're Dillon Danis, this is something you can do at home. Now, you don't want to do this to someone you don't like. If it's Dillon Danis, that's fine. You go behind him and you ear hole him. Boom, right to the back of the ear hole. Bink. Then you go uppercut. He still can't see you. Boom. Guaranteed when he gets punched, he'll pull guard. So once he pulls guard, he's going to start wheel kicking here. Yep, shooting up triangles, omoplatas. You just got to stay away. TKO win there for John Pork. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Happens of that. Now Dillon Danis will never be at a UFC
forever.
Well, he's never getting a fucking UFC now.
Yeah, not them though. I bet you Dana was liking it. Like, we'll give you a bonus. Because I heard Dana, I was tweeting like, dude, these guys fucking jumped Dillon Danis and Danis got banned. That's fucking crazy. Like, think about like the law-wise, you know?
А ты же кулак даже разбил, потому что на фотографии видно.
Да, вот здесь чуть царапина. Об зуб, походу, я не знаю, куда. И этим тоже чуть вот здесь попало ему, вот чуть шишка появилась.
Я надеюсь, ты же только в него попадал, ты там не кому-то, так скажем...
Не-не-не, Ахана не попал, хоть хорошо. Никого не попал. Только его бил. И все.
Ну, сейчас единственное...
Ну, реально, это, я считаю, даже это мало. Извиняюсь, что перебил, но это и мало для него. За его поступки это мало. Такие вещи не прощаются. За каждое слово ты должен отвечать. У нас такие приоритеты, что ты сказал, ты должен за свои слова ответить. Но он... Это для них, видишь, у них, я не знаю, как они живут здесь. Что хотят, говорят, могут семью задеть. И для них это ничего. А для нас все, каждое слово, это все для нас святое, и нужно отвечать.
Before the main fights even started, the crowd exploded. Dillon Danis got into a brawl with members of Khabib's team, and the whole arena went wild. UFC experts jumped on it right away with some shocked, some laughing, and many making fun of Dillon as clips of Team Khabib teasing him further spread everywhere. It wasn't just a quick scuffle, but instead it became the moment everyone was talking about.
There was a better fight going. There was a better brawl going on in the crowd. Even DC was looking over his shoulder like, wait, what's going on? You know what's funny? On Twitter, I fucking called it. DC's looking over his shoulder and saying, I don't know what's going on over there in the crowd. And I went, if I didn't know any better, I'm saying this is Dillon Danis versus some Dagestanis in the crowd. And I bet you John Pork is involved as well. That's what I thought. And boom, John Pork on camera hitting Dillon Danis in the back of the head while Dillon's fucking shoes kicking up in the air behind the barrier is the funniest thing ever.
The jabs came soon after the main fight when the clip of Chanko landing that clean shot on Dillon started making the rounds. Islam Makhachev reacted with the same cool tone he always carries. He gave Chanko credit for being sharp on the feet, then brushed off Dillon completely, joking that talking about him wasn't worth it and would only stink up the conversation. With one calm line, Islam made it clear he wasn't giving Dillon any extra attention.
Apparently, Chanko landed the cleanest shots in Dillon Danis. Do you think that would make him more of a star?
Chanko is a good striker, you know. Don't talk about the shit person. We're gonna smell the shit, you know. We're gonna still talking about the shit person.
And the man himself, Magomed Chanko Zainukov, who went the hardest on pummeling Dillon, opened up about why he went after Dillon during UFC 322 at MSG, and he didn't sugarcoat any of it. He said Dillon was lucky he didn't catch even more, because in his eyes, what Dillon had said and done crossed a line you don't just walk back from. For Chanko, accountability isn't optional. If you run your mouth, you stand behind it. That's simply how he was raised, and in his mind, Dillon had it coming.
А ты же кулак даже разбил, потому что на фотографии видно.
Да, вот здесь чуть царапина. Об зуб, походу, я не знаю, куда. И этим тоже чуть вот здесь попало ему, вот чуть шишка появилась.
Я надеюсь, ты же только в него попадал, ты там не кому-то, так скажем...
Не-не-не, Ахана не попал, хоть хорошо. Никого не попал. Только его бил.
Ну, сейчас единственное,
Ну,
есть...
реально, это я считаю, даже это мало. Извиняюсь, что перебил, но это и мало для него. За его поступки это мало. Такие вещи не прощаются. За каждое слово ты должен отвечать. У нас такие стереотипы, что ты сказал, ты должен за свои слова ответить. Но он... Ну, это для них, видишь, у них, я не знаю, как они живут здесь. Что хотят, говорят, могут семью задеть. И для них это ничего. А для нас все, каждое слово, это все для нас святое, и нужно отвечать.
And Javier Mendez backed up his boys. He said Dillon set the whole thing up himself by wandering into the fighters section, right beside Khabib's camp, even after Dana had told him he wasn't allowed there. On top of that, Javier called out the disrespectful edits Dillon had been posting about Khabib and Islam, especially regarding their religion, saying you can't provoke people like that online and then sit right next to them expecting nothing to happen. To him, it was the same old pattern. Dillon stirs the pot, crosses a line, and then acts surprised when it blows up in his face.
Oh, that guy, I mean, why doesn't he grow up? I mean, what the hell's he doing? I mean, I read, I heard Dana's speech regarding that about how he was sitting in the fighter section and sitting where Team Habib was to boot. I mean, come on, dude. You know you're asking for trouble. And then they showed me the videos of what he was showing Ali and Islam in a relationship type embrace. And then he was doing things with a porn star in Islam embracing. And then he's talking crap on other things. I mean, what do you expect when you do that? And you go and you sit where the guys are sitting and you riling them up with big, huge disrespect. I mean, this guy, it's like when Logan Paul's girlfriend went after him, rightfully so, because he was making her look like something she wasn't. So she sued his ass. And then, you got to stop that stuff. It's like, stop picking on people's religion, man. That's what he was doing.
And then Tim Welch and Suga Sean couldn't help jumping in on the chaos too, breaking down Chanko's other TKO over Dillon earlier that night. They joked through a full play-by-play, acting out how Dillon ended up folded over while Chanko slipped behind him and dropped him with a quick sneak shot that left Dillon flailing on the floor. The two even turned it into a mini instructional, showing how a brawl like that unfolds and what to do if someone like Dillon starts pulling guard in the middle of the scuffle. It was their way of adding humor to a night where Dillon seemed to take losses from every direction.
So another TKO that happened later that night, John Pork TKO'd Dillon Danis in the first round. This is how it happened. For some weird reason, Dillon Danis was bent over like this. John Pork comes behind him and starts juicing him. Juices him, drops Dillon Danis to the floor, TKOs him, and Dillon is air kicking. He's wheel kicking. You see it in the video, his red Nikes, wheel kicking in the air. He was knocked out. Shortly after that, they got him out of there. So that was a TKO win by John Pork. So now, if you're ever in New York, remember to check in with John Pork. But if you're Dillon Danis, this is something you can do at home. Now, you don't want to do this to someone you don't like. If it's Dillon Danis, that's fine. You go behind him and you ear hole him. Boom, right to the back of the ear hole. Bink. Then you go uppercut. He still can't see you. Bunk. Guaranteed when he gets punched, he'll pull guard. So once he pulls guard, he's going to start wheel kicking here. Yep, shooting up triangles, omoplatas. You just got to stay away. TKO win there.
Jorge Masvidal didn't hold back either. He said Dillon didn't stand a chance once things erupted, claiming the whole situation was practically over before he even got a shot. As he walked toward his seat, he ran into Chanko with bloodied hands, casually brushing off what had happened. Jorge laughed about how Dillon had already been flattened, humiliated, and booted from the arena before he could even step in. In his view, the whole mess had been taken care of, and Dillon paid the price for pushing the wrong people too far.
But he did get his ass beat by the Muslim Brotherhood. They stole it from me because I was literally on my way to whoop this motherfucker's ass. They've been sending a couple messages, and I was like, all right, cool. You keep sending these messages, brother. We're going to have to see each other. After my boy Bo gets that knockout, they show a little replay of the fans reacting, right? And guess who's there? Bitch-ass bitch. What's his face? I ain't even going to say his name on my show. Never give him no clout. So I tell the UFC immediately, this fan experience is over. I want to go to my seat, please. They go, yeah, sure. As I start walking towards my seat from the VIP room, I run into Chanko. I'm like, what's up, man? The police is all over me. I go, what happened, brother? And he's like, nah, just chilling, bro. All good. And I see his hands are blood. And I'm like, nah, something happened. What happened with you, man? Look at your hands. He go, no, all good, bro. Little problem. I took care of it. And I go, all right. So, bam, I took a picture. I keep walking. And as I'm getting closer to the arena, to the stands. The UFC starts coming running at me. You stay right here. Don't move. What just happened? What'd you get into? And they're grabbing me. They're holding me. And I'm like, bro, I just literally got here. Luckily, the UFC always has me with two glorified babysitters, security guards, because every event, they got two bodyguards on me everywhere I go to make sure I don't cause no trouble or get in no trouble. So those guys vouch for me. They were like, nah, man, he was with us. He ain't do nothing. After that, another UFC executive by the name of Reed Harris came up to me and goes, man, what did you do? And I go, man, I just got here, brother. I wish I could have done something. So by the time I got out to the main event, all the good fun was taken away already. Dillon Danis had already got fucking mopped up, kicked in the fucking face. They made him eat shit, made him lick the floor, and then they kicked his ass out and banned him. So, sucks for you, pussy, because I'm not gonna hit the fuck your ass up in the crowd. By the time I got out to the main event, all the good fun was taken away already. Dillon Danis had already got fucking mopped up, kicked in the fucking face. They made him eat shit, made him lick the floor, and then they kicked his ass out and banned him. So, sucks for you, pussy, because I'm not gonna hit the fuck your ass up in the crowd.
And one man who seemed angry about what happened to Dillon was MMA Guru, who broke down how the whole brawl actually started, and it wasn't Dillon walking into chaos by accident. The first punch came from Chanko, kicking off what was clearly a planned attack. Khabib's cousin Abubakar Nurmagomedov and the others were ready for it, even swapping hats like they knew Dillon was about to get jumped. MMA Guru called it wild that Chanko openly talked about why he went after Dillon, and noted that while Dillon got banned from UFC events, no one on Chanko's side faced any real consequences, even though it was a 10-on-1 or 8-on-1 beatdown.
By John Pork. This guy right here, you may know of John Pork, okay? He starts punching Dillon Danis in the back of the head, but the footage that recently came out showing the start of the brawl shows that Shanko, aka John Pork, threw the first punch that initiated the brawl. Danis walked into the area, and this was a premeditated attack. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, who's being held on the ground in this clip here by Dillon Danis, wrestled to the ground by Dillon Danis, one of Khabib's cousins. I know they're all cousins, but officially a cousin of Khabib. He took his hat off and gave it to his friend. They knew this was going down. When they saw Danis, they were going to go for him. And Shanko started the brawl, and he's even like happily discussing why he chose to attack Dillon Danis at UFC 322. It's kind of wild. They have had no punishment because Dana White, his response to this is to ban Dillon Danis from being at the UFC. You will never see Dillon Danis at a UFC fight ever again. That's what Dana White has decided to do here. They jumped him 10 versus 1, 8 versus...
He pointed out that this wasn't a one-off. The same group had caused chaos before, jumping the cage at UFC 229 during the McGregor versus Khabib fight, and even attacking Conor McGregor himself. Dillon Danis had been on the receiving end of their tactics before, and these Dagestani fighters had a long history of cornering opponents in numbers. Yet despite all that, Dana White's response was to ban Dillon from UFC events entirely, while the others walked away with no punishment.
This isn't the first time these guys have done something like this, and it's not the first time they've done it to Dillon Danis. They jumped the cage at UFC 229 McGregor versus Khabib, the biggest fight of all time, and jumped McGregor in the cage. This guy being held on the ground by Dillon Danis, Abubakar Nurmagomedov, jumped the cage. Zubaira Tukhugov too jumped the cage at 229 into the octagon and started beating up Conor McGregor. These same guys are the reason the McGregor-Khabib beef started in the first place. When it got crazy, when McGregor threw the dolly at the bus, it's because they cornered Artem Lobov ages ago backstage because he's Team McGregor and they were shit-talking back and forth. Khabib said, where's your chicken? Ireland, 6 million. Russia, 150 million. And this has happened many times before with these Dagestanis where they jump people 10-on-1 and corner them. And they've just done it to Dillon Danis, and Dana White's response is to ban Dillon Danis from ever being at the UFC ever again. It's pretty.
Rampage Jackson and TJ Dillashaw chimed in too, saying this whole mess was a reminder that some crews don't play around. They joked that you can't do online banter with guys like that because they don't see it the same way. Rampage said it's exactly what happens when someone talks wild on the internet and then finally has to face the people they've been provoking. TJ agreed, adding that most online tough talk disappears the moment real fighters are standing in front of you. Their message was simple: if you're going to run your mouth, be ready to deal with the consequences, especially when you're walking into a group built for violence. Kamaru Usman called the scene absolute chaos. The arena was wild, with people throwing punches, security rushing in, and someone even trying to hop over a railing. What really stood out to him was seeing Dillon Danis walking through it all like nothing, even stopping to greet GSP. Usman noted that Dillon had disrespected so many fighters and their teams online, yet there he was in the thick of it, making an already volatile night even crazier. Usman reminded everyone this wasn't an isolated incident. He pointed back to the Khabib versus McGregor chaos, when Khabib famously leapt over the cage toward Dillon Danis. And then Henry Cejudo chimed in to question why someone like Dillon would be allowed back into an arena full of fighters from Dagestan, given his history of disrespectful antics, like posting videos mocking Ali and Islam. He said Dillon constantly crosses lines most people wouldn't dare touch, targeting family, religion, and even the deceased, making it no surprise that tensions boil over whenever he shows up. Furthermore, Ali Abdelaziz slammed Dillon as just another internet tough guy who is loud online but weak in real life. He said people like him need to face consequences for their words and actions. Sharing a past experience where he handled a similar situation himself, Ali pointed out that this is why learning self-defense and martial arts matters. In his view, Dillon's antics made trouble inevitable, and it's a clear message to anyone who thinks they can act recklessly online without paying a price. Abdelaziz stressed that you can't hide behind a screen and talk recklessly online. When you come face to face with the people you insult, especially this crew, you're going to be held accountable, no exceptions, whether you're a fighter, a reporter, or anyone else. He said Dillon chose the easy path, trying to ride other people's hype instead of earning respect through hard work and focus. According to Ali, that approach was doomed from the start and Dillon was always going to pay the price. Even with Dana's ban in place, he warned that this chapter for Dillon isn't finished. So what's your take on all this fiasco? Do you think it's really over? Or is there more drama waiting to unfold? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single update.